The story kicks off in 1982, where 10-year-old Gracie Hart steps in to stop a school fight between a bully and the boy she has a crush on. Instead of thanking her, the boy gets embarrassed that a girl had to rescue him and lashes out. Gracie isn't about to let that slide, so she punches him straight in the face and calls him a wimp. 18 years later, Gracie is now an FBI special agent. She's fearless, stubborn, and more focused on catching criminals than fixing her hair. While the rest of her team waits outside in a surveillance van, Gracie goes undercover inside a Russian restaurant, pretending to enjoy a dinner while spying on a group of mobsters. Hidden inside the book she's reading is a tiny camera that streams everything back to the FBI. Her job is simple. Capture the moment the criminals exchange a set of stolen discs so the team has enough evidence to move in. Just as the deal is about to happen, a Russian waitress steps right in front of the camera, completely blocking the view. With the entire operation on the line, Gracie has to think fast. She starts praising the borscht, wraps the confused waitress in a hug, and shifts both the woman and her hidden camera just enough for the FBI to finally see the discs. The second the exchange is confirmed, the agents storm into the restaurant. But instead of surrendering, one of the mobsters shoves a handful of peanuts into his mouth and starts choking. Gracie's boss orders everyone to hold their positions until the suspects are secured, but Gracie can't just stand there and watch someone die. Ignoring a direct order, she rushes over and performs the Heimlich maneuver, saving the mobster's life. Unfortunately, the moment he catches his breath, he grabs her as a hostage and demands the FBI lower their weapons. Gracie quickly fights back and manages to take him down, allowing the agents to finish the arrest. The operation is ultimately a success, but her decision to ignore protocol comes at a cost. During the chaos, one of her fellow agents is shot. On the ride back, Gracie can't stop blaming herself. The next morning, all the agents gather for a briefing. Their boss starts with some good news, announcing that Gracie's injured teammate is expected to make a full recovery. But then he reveals that the FBI has received another threatening letter from notorious domestic terrorist known only as the Citizen. The criminal is famous for sending cryptic riddles before every attack, forcing investigators to solve the clues before it's too late. The boss puts Agent Eric Matthews in charge of the investigation and lets him choose his own team. Every agent hopes to be picked, including Gracie. After the briefing, Gracie tries to convince her boss to let her join the investigation, but he is still upset that she ignored orders during the Russian operation. He reminds her that she's off field duty until her disciplinary hearing and buries her in desk work instead. Even so, Gracie can't help getting involved. She studies the letter herself and realizes the next target is the upcoming Miss United States pageant in San Antonio, Texas. She rushes over to Eric, only to find out the FBI's decoding team has already reached the same conclusion. Instead of walking away, Gracie sticks around and starts throwing out ideas. She suggests contacting the television network and the pageant organizers immediately, coordinating with the local FBI office, and increasing security around the event. Since the pageant begins in just 2 days, time is already running out. Then Gracie points out a major problem. There are countless places inside the competition that only contestants are allowed to enter. If they really want to protect the contestants and catch the terrorist, they'll need someone working undercover from the inside. Eric loves the idea, and the team starts searching for a female agent who could pass as a beauty queen. Using a makeover program that digitally places agents into pageant dresses and swimsuits, they begin scrolling through every woman in the bureau. Their first choice turns out to be on maternity leave, so they keep going. Before long, the search completely derails as they start laughing at ridiculous makeovers and even begin putting the male agents into dresses just for fun. Eventually, Eric pulls up Gracie's profile. To everyone's surprise, after a little digital makeover, she actually looks like she could compete. Gracie, however, absolutely hates the idea. She can't stand makeup, dresses, or high heels, and she thinks beauty pageants are nothing more than shallow competitions filled with airheads. Eric reminds her that this is the only way she'll get back into the field. After some hesitation, Gracie gives in and agrees to go undercover, although she's far from happy about it. Since the real Miss New Jersey is about to be disqualified after appearing in an adult film, the FBI arranges for Gracie to take her place. Eric and Gracie go to meet pageant director Kathy Morningside, her creepy assistant Frank, and the show's longtime host, Stan Fields. Neither Kathy nor Frank is thrilled about the FBI taking over their pageant, but the television network refuses to pull the broadcast, so the show has to go on under heavy FBI protection. Their confidence completely disappears the moment they discover Gracie is the undercover agent, who has to blend in and somehow make it into the top 5. Kathy takes one look at her and can barely hide her horror. Fortunately, she knows exactly one person crazy enough to take on the challenge: legendary pageant coach Victor Melling. Victor is famous for turning contestants into winners, but the second he meets Gracie, he wants to walk away. After spending just a few minutes with her, he criticizes everything from the way she walks and talks to the way she eats and carries herself. As far as he's concerned, she has absolutely no chance of passing as a beauty queen. Gracie learns that Victor was once considered the best pageant coach in the business. For years, his contestants dominated the competition, but his career fell apart after one former contestant publicly accused him of driving her to the edge with his impossible standards. Since then, nobody has wanted to work with him, making Gracie his last shot at redemption. Despite all his complaints, Victor reluctantly accepts the challenge, and the FBI turns one of its facilities into a makeover headquarters. Gracie endures hairstyling, waxing, manicures, wardrobe fittings, and endless etiquette lessons, while Victor teaches her how to behave like a beauty queen. She hates every second of it and constantly argues with him. But by the end of the transformation, Gracie officially becomes Miss New Jersey. When she steps out, even Eric can barely recognize her. Gone are the messy hair and oversized suits. Standing in front of them is a stunning beauty queen who looks like she belongs on stage. Underneath the dress, though, she's still the same sarcastic FBI agent she's always been. The next day, the team arrives in San Antonio, where the pageant contestants are being housed. Kathy Morningside is waiting to welcome everyone, and she's stunned when she sees Gracie. Soon, Gracie boards the shuttle bus with the other contestants. Hidden beneath her glamorous look is an FBI earpiece, allowing Eric and the surveillance team to hear everything happening around her. During the ride, she meets Cheryl Frazier, Miss Rhode Island, an incredibly sweet and innocent contestant who has memorized every girl's name and photo. After arriving at the hotel, the contestants gather for breakfast, and Gracie meets the rest of the group. As expected, her sarcastic sense of humor immediately stands out from the polished pageant personalities surrounding her. A little later, Kathy and Stan officially welcome everyone to the competition. Stan announces that he will be retiring this year, although Miss Texas whispers that he's actually being fired. Meanwhile, the FBI is having problems with Gracie's earpiece. As the technicians try to fix the audio, the volume suddenly blasts at full force, making Gracie yell loud enough for the entire room to stop and stare. Thinking fast, she drops to her knees and pretends she is saying grace, explaining that she forgot to pray before eating her bagel. That evening, Cheryl knocks on Gracie's door carrying 2 mugs of hot chocolate and asks if she'd like some company. As they chat, Cheryl excitedly talks about the baton-twirling routine she'll perform during the talent competition. She admits she's always wanted to light the baton on fire, but her parents would never allow it. Gracie tells her she should go for it anyway. Cheryl then sincerely tells Gracie that she thinks she'll win the pageant because she's smart, confident, and different from everyone else. Touched by the compliment, Gracie tells Cheryl she has just as much chance of winning as anyone else. Their conversation is cut short when Gracie's sleepy roommate, Mary Jo from Texas, complains that she's trying to sleep, sending Cheryl back to her own room. But Gracie doesn't get much rest herself. In the middle of the night, Eric sneaks her out for another training session with Victor. Unfortunately, Victor drills her endlessly on walking in heels and proper posture, then suddenly asks what talent she'll be performing. When Gracie admits she doesn't actually have one, Victor has a meltdown. Gracie eventually promises she'll figure something out on her own. The next day, the contestants get ready for the talent competition, but Gracie can barely keep her eyes open. Cheryl notices how exhausted she looks, while Mary Jo mentions that some mysterious guy showed up in the middle of the night and took Gracie away. The rest of the contestants instantly want all the details. Not wanting to blow her cover, Gracie makes up a ridiculous story, claiming the guy was an ex-boyfriend who became obsessed with her. She says she only dated him because he convinced her he had an incurable disease, but it turned out it was just plain stupidity. The girls burst into laughter, completely buying the story. Before long, it's time for the talent competition. Gracie walks on stage with a collection of water glasses filled to different levels and tries to perform a musical piece. The performance is completely ridiculous, but Gracie leans into it with so much confidence that the audience can't help but laugh along. Halfway through her performance, Gracie notices a man in the crowd reaching inside his jacket. Convinced he's about to pull out a gun and attack the stage, she launches herself off the platform and tackles him in front of the entire audience. Unfortunately, the man wasn't a terrorist at all. He was simply reaching for a cigarette. The whole incident becomes national news, with the media spinning it as an over-the-top anti-smoking protest, instead of an FBI mistake. Gracie tries to defend herself by pointing out that anyone reaching for what looks like a weapon would make an agent suspicious. Then the investigation takes an unexpected turn. The FBI receives the DNA results from the citizen's letter and discovers that the envelope was sealed by a woman. Kathy is furious that Gracie has embarrassed the pageant on live television and warns her not to cause another scene. Meanwhile, Gracie's boss decides the situation has become too unpredictable and flies to San Antonio to personally oversee the operation. That night, while everyone else sleeps, Victor drags Gracie back into training, this time preparing her for the interview round. Every answer she gives is dripping with sarcasm, and she openly mocks the pageant's polished image. Victor tells her that instead of filling her life with friendships and meaningful relationships, she's replaced them with sarcasm and a gun. Gracie storms off and finds Eric in the hotel pool. She admits she's ready to quit because she doesn't belong in the pageant and feels like she's only making things worse. Eric reminds her that she's one of the smartest, strongest, and funniest people he knows, and tells her she's far more capable than she gives herself credit for. His words finally get through to her, and Gracie decides to stick with the mission after all. The next event is the swimsuit competition. Despite being completely out of her comfort zone, Gracie puts on a smile and confidently walks across the stage. To everyone's surprise, she actually pulls it off. During the interview portion, she even gives the pageant's signature answer, saying she wants world peace, earning a round of applause from the audience. Afterward, Eric shares some new information with Gracie. The FBI has discovered that Cheryl was arrested in college after taking part in an animal rights protest. Since the latest evidence suggests the terrorist might actually be a woman, Eric asks Gracie to get closer to Cheryl and find out exactly what happened. Gracie convinces the contestants to sneak out for a girls' night. Over pizza and drinks, the conversation turns into a game of confessing embarrassing secrets, giving Gracie the perfect opportunity to question Cheryl about her past. It turns out Cheryl's criminal record is far less dramatic than the FBI imagined. She just stole a pair of red panties from a department store. After a few too many drinks, Cheryl passes out, and the other contestants help her into the restroom to freshen up. While they're looking after her, Mary Jo reveals that Kathy Morningside's year as Miss United States wasn't as perfect as everyone remembers. The original winner mysteriously came down with severe food poisoning, and the crown was awarded to Kathy. She also mentions that Kathy was also getting fired this year and was so furious she threw a chair across the room. The pieces suddenly start coming together in Gracie's mind. Kathy has a motive, a suspicious past, and every reason to resent the organization. Convinced she's uncovered the real threat, Gracie rushes to Eric with her theory. But the FBI receives another update. The real citizen has just been arrested on an unrelated charge, seemingly bringing the entire case to an end. With the threat officially over, their boss orders the operation shut down and tells everyone to head home. Gracie insists something still doesn't add up and begs Eric to hear her out, but he follows orders instead of backing her. Hurt that he won't trust her instincts, Gracie makes a choice of her own. She tells her boss she's staying because she can't just abandon the contestants she's promised to protect. She hands over her badge and gun, effectively ending her role as an FBI agent. The next morning, Gracie rushes to Victor's room and begs him not to leave with the rest of the team. Victor gently tells her she doesn't need him anymore and that he has never been prouder of any contestant he's ever coached. Then he gives her the beautiful gown he'd been saving for the finals, wishes her good luck, and tells her it was a privilege coaching her. Then Gracie walks alone into the dressing room, completely overwhelmed. Luckily, the other contestants immediately come to her rescue and help her prepare for the stage. Before long, the live finals begin. The contestants kick things off with an opening dance before the hosts reveal the top 10 finalists. Gracie makes the cut alongside Cheryl, Mary Jo, and several of the other girls she's grown close to. Meanwhile, Victor lets Eric in on a crucial piece of information. Frank isn't just Kathy's assistant. He's actually her son, a fact they deliberately kept hidden because of his criminal record. Realizing Gracie may have been right all along, Eric ignores their boss's orders and heads back to the pageant to continue the investigation. The talent competition is up next. Before Cheryl takes the stage, Gracie surprises her with real flaming batons, allowing Cheryl to perform the routine she's always dreamed of, and Cheryl absolutely steals the show. Then it's Gracie's turn. Unfortunately, several thirsty contestants accidentally drank the water from the musical glasses. Thinking on her feet, Gracie jokes on stage about what happened and announces to everyone that she'd rather teach women how to defend themselves. She calls Eric onto the stage as her volunteer and proceeds to demonstrate a series of painful self-defense moves, throwing him around in front of the entire audience. The crowd absolutely loves it. Behind the scenes, Kathy retrieves the previous winner's crown, claiming it needs polishing. In reality, she and Frank replace it with an identical tiara containing a hidden explosive. Their plan is to crown the new Miss United States, then detonate the bomb in front of a live national audience. Soon, the finalists are narrowed down once again. Gracie advances into the top 5 alongside Cheryl, Mary Jo, Nebraska, and California. During the interview round, each contestant answers a question from the judges. Gracie surprises everyone by speaking honestly about finally finding a place where she belongs. As the finalists prepare for the crowning ceremony backstage, Gracie overhears the previous winner mention that Frank took the crown to be polished. She realizes that the bomb will be hidden inside the tiara. She tries to warn Victor, but before she can explain, they're rushed back onto the stage. Gracie manages to catch Eric's attention from across the room, and he realizes what she's trying to tell him. Spotting Frank hiding high above the stage with the detonator, Eric races after him while Gracie focuses on stopping the crowning ceremony. The final results are announced, and Gracie is named first runner-up. Cheryl is announced the new Miss United States. Gracie repeatedly tells her not to put the tiara on, but Cheryl completely misunderstands, thinking Gracie is trying to steal the spotlight. The two begin wrestling over the crown in front of the stunned audience, while Eric fights Frank high above the stage. Even Mary Jo gets caught in the chaos as Gracie fights her way to Cheryl. At the last possible second, Gracie rips the tiara off Cheryl's head and throws it high into the stage lights. A massive explosion erupts overhead, setting part of the stage on fire, but sparing everyone below. With the plot exposed, Kathy and Frank are arrested. Once everything is finally over, Eric asks Gracie out on a real date, and they kiss. The next morning, Gracie is tricked into attending the pageant's farewell breakfast. There, Cheryl surprises her with one final award. The contestants unanimously name Gracie Miss Congeniality for saving all of their lives. Overcome with emotion, she accepts the award, finally understanding what the pageant was really about all along. The end. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time.